Hello, anyone and everyone. I am Echo, and today we're exploring Aviary Attorney. Last episode, after getting separated from Sparrowson and getting caught up in the stupid revolution business, where they're trying to use us to prosecute the king and everything like that, we're basically kind of just waiting out the week, seeing what happens, and I guess waiting for an opportunity to escape while the day of the revolution slowly draws closer. We paid a little visit to the private detective dude, and he wasn't able to help us out much, but we got a little information on the Viridian killer, which apparently some people think we were the Viridian killer or something. So that sucks. But anyway, now we need to go to one of these two places, and I guess we'll check out the Twirless Gardens first. Let me think. So it takes 10 minutes to walk from the Place de la Concorde to this very spot. Palais Royal lies 5 minutes north of here. But the crowd will be fairly large and slow. It may take twice, maybe 3 times as long to make the move. Having a logistics problem, madame? Perhaps. The plan is to walk the crowd from here, through Twirless, to the Palais Royal. But if we take too long to pass through Twirless, the police will trap us in. We could be flanked and slaughtered. That is quite an issue. Why not just go around Twirless? Why not run? Why not just meet at the palace? Yeah, why not just meet at the palace, I guess? Why not just get the protesters to meet at the Palais Royal itself? Because the Place de la Concorde is an ideal meeting location. It's enormous and easy to get to. I see, but even if you got, say, half the protesters to meet at the Palais Royal, you would cut down on traveling time. I get it. A smaller crowd would be easier to direct across the garden. I'll pass the idea along to Piero and see what he has to say. He's the one in charge of leading the crowds, after all. That bird-brained parrot would probably just shoot the idea down, right? Probably, but I appreciate your input. I don't know if you genuinely want to help, or if you're just telling me what I want to hear out of fear, but thank you, Falcon. It's no problem, madam. For the Second Republic, right? Right, for the Second Republic. I don't like this situation. It's not fun. It's not friendly. Anyway, Palais Royal. I guess we're doing some more planning for the day of the revolution. The Palais Royal. Just look at that disgusting den of fat cat bourgeois and hypocritical politicians. The king is probably in there as we speak. Probably sitting in his high chair, stuffing his bloated face with cake and wine while he boasts about being the perfect citizen king. Did you come here just to moan about the king? No, I've come to assess the potential battleground. On the day of the rebellion, I might order Piero to set up a barricade over there. What do you think? There, right outside the Palais Royal? Of course, it's the perfect place for a defensive garrison. We can gather furniture from nearby buildings, build a wall, and position rifles to fend off the police. When the time is right, it will serve as the ideal location to launch our assault on the palace. So you weren't just throwing empty words in the tavern. You actually do intend on dragging the king out of the palace through violence. Of course, he will never abdicate on his own volition. It's not as if I want to see bloodshed, Falcon. It's necessary. It's inevitable. I mean, we have to be realistic. There's no way to bring change to a country without using violence, is there? Think there are ways? Violence is inevitable. I think there are ways. I think there are ways. People look back on the violent moments of history, the executions, the wars, the bloody revolutions. But who's to say that a country could not be overturned just through the chance of the people? A pacifist revolution. Interesting. I would love for such a thing to be possible. Maybe. It would be better to avoid building the barricades. At least until it's clear that violence is inevitable. That's good. That's a good compromise, madam. Haha! We've actually weakened her plan, so the revolution might fail. Which I think we want to happen? Right? Pretty sure. I'm not sure. They haven't given us much story on what is actually going on. We only have, like, her word for it that all the people are getting stepped on by the bourgeois and everything, but I don't know. Anyway, Pont des Arts. This newly built bridge boasts a magnificent view of the Louvre and offers quick passage across the Seine. Alright, let's check it out. This is it, Falcon. This is the day we make our stand. Everything is coming together. As we speak, Fontaine is gathering the protesters at the Place de la Concorde. Wait, this is the final day? I thought we had a couple more days to go. Jeez. Oh well. I must be bad at keeping track of how many days pass in this game, but whatever. Pierrot is making preparations to build and arm a barricade near the Palais Royal, just as a precaution, you understand. The only question that remains is, are you ready? You haven't given me time to collect any evidence, so no. To be perfectly honest, no, I'm not ready at all. You want me to prosecute the king and prime minister, if and when you drag them from the palace, right? Well, I've had no time to prepare. I have no evidence on hand. This whole trial is going to be one big fiasco. You're too fixated on the formalities, Falcon. This revolution will succeed, and those in power will see justice. That's all that matters. I disagree. But madame... Come on, let's see how the protest is going. Falcon and Beaumont arrive at the Place de la Concorde. The air is thick with the chants, shouts, and cheers of hundreds of protesters. A line of mounted soldiers stands shoulder to shoulder outside the entrance of Toiles. This is amazing. I had no idea the Second Republic had this many supporters. But of course, you didn't think that we were just a few animals huddling in a cave, did you? The desire for revolution runs deep in the city. Everything's in place at the Palais Royal, ma'am. Just say the word and we'll set up the biggest barricade you ever seen. Then we can all storm the building and drag that cocky king out of his chair. There's been a change of plan. We're still going to protest, but we're going to do it peacefully. No firing from behind barricades, no violence, no capturing the king or prime minister. Madam, are you feeling alright? Quite alright, thank you. But what of your desire for a better France? You cannot achieve that without bloodshed. We can certainly try. Falcon convinced me. Falcon? Pacifism seems like the Christian approach, wouldn't you say, Friar? I see. So that's how it is. Excuse me, madam. He's gonna turn on us and just go kill the king himself or something. I think the friar disapproves of this new strategy. He probably thinks I've gone soft, and maybe I have. But I'm not deviating from this path, even if each and every rebel leaves my side. Don't worry, ma'am. You aren't alone. We're not here for the violence, madam. As long as you strive for a better France, we'll always stand with you. Ain't that sweet. Ugh, a stupid bullet wound. So he's the one who, got shot by, what's-his-face? Severin Cocorico, I guess, right? But that's weird, though. Then why'd they try Severin for the death of this guy? I'm confused. Because if he's not the Croque Monsieur, then how did he get the bullet wound? I don't remember any other point where he got shot. Unless maybe I just missed it, because maybe since I didn't do the days in like the correct order and go to the right places, maybe I missed the part where he got shot, but obviously it still happened, because that's like part of the story. If that's the case, then that's okay. Anyway, the damn thing's opened up again. What's the news, brother? Is everything in place? We have a problem. The mademoiselle refuses to use violence. She's turned timid. Turned timid? How? It appears that the lawyer, Falcon, is something of a lion tamer. Jayjay Falcon, that bird is proving to be more trouble than the rooster, I swear. Brother, listen. If there is no violence, then there will be no power gap. One leader will just peacefully replace another. We need chaos for our plan to work. So they have a separate plan, different from the revolution. I see now. Guess we'll have to follow through with our contingency strategy. I'll find the victim, you find the suspect. Oh, they're gonna frame another murder. Don't push yourself, brother. You're still injured. Those bastards. Look at those scum. Foul vermin, the lot of them. Mark my words, Sparrowson. Every one of these petulant dissenters will take the first opportunity to turn aggressive. They lust for violence. They don't look too violent to me. Trust me. This is just how the crowd looked before the July Revolution. It only takes one crazed individual and the entire crowd will explode into a frenzy. Hey, it's you! Friar, it's good to see you again. No time for pleasantries, Inspector. You're needed urgently on the Place de la Concorde. Me? Why not ask one of the officers on active guard duty? There's no time to explain. Any minute now. Ah, do you hear that gunshot? It's already begun. Come on, Inspector. We must make haste. Inspector, I really don't think you should be trusting this friar. He's a two-faced wolf. Friar Remus has provided me with reliable information in the past. I trust his judgment. But, Inspector, This isn't up for discussion, Sparrowson. I have a duty to uphold. Wasn't, Friar Remus was at the place where they tried severing Cocorico. He was in the caves. So Sparrowson should have already told Volerti that the friar was there, which means if he didn't, then he's an idiot, or if Volerti didn't believe him, then Volerti's an idiot. Which, frankly, Volerti's already shown himself to be a bit of an idiot before, so I'm fine with that. This isn't up for discussion. Stay put. I'll be back in no time at all. But... what should I do now? Just disappear, I guess. Okay. That works. A gunshot. He was nearby, too. So the friar was right. Violence really is an inevitability. We haven't reached that stage yet, madam. I can't afford to take chances, not now. Piero, march the crowd to the Palais Royal and construct the barricade. Yes, Mom? Fontaine, Falcon, we're going to find the source of this disturbance. It came from here, Inspector. Hurry, hurry. I'm moving as fast as these old legs will... Mon Dieu! A body! This woman must have been the target of the gunshot we just heard, but I don't see a shooter. I think the gunshot came from over here. Inspector? Falcon? Well, well. I should have known that the Viridian killer would have had a part in this. Inspector, I'm not... What do we have here? A filthy cop and a dead girl? Madam, thank goodness you're here. I saw the whole thing. This poor innocent mademoiselle was approaching the police line with her hands in the air, when all of a sudden this brute of a police inspector yelled, "Get back, you filthy rebel!" He drew his gun and shot the bird point blank through her heart. What is this nonsense? What are you prattling on about, Friar? Thank you for your input, Remus. It hardly surprises me that a member of the police would be the one to cast the first stone. I think we're all being a little rash. Let's just take a breath, examine the situation, and... Wait a moment. You wear an eye patch. You only have one eye, Inspector. How observant. Tell me, were you the policeman who killed the rat at Les Halles too? Oh my god, did the two fucking brothers kill the rat too? Just to, like, somehow blame the Inspector? Les Halles? What are you talking about? 2 incidents of a one-eyed policeman gunning down an innocent victim. There's no way that is a coincidence. What we have here is a filthy, corrupt individual who takes pleasure in oppressing the common citizen. Am I right, Inspector? I really shouldn't be surprised that a stupid rebel makes stupid assumptions and comes to stupid conclusions. But open your damned eyes, mademoiselle. I'm not the assailant here. Don't call me mademoiselle, or stupid for that matter. Your guilt is plain to see. Given the circumstances, I ought to judge and execute you right here and now. Falcon, don't just stand there gawking. Vouch for me. Sure, I know this man, yeah. We know he didn't do it, so I'm gonna stand up for him. Madam, I know this man. His name is Inspector Volerti. He is ruthlessly law-abiding, so much so that I can't envision him shooting a man without just cause. Oh, shut up, Falcon. I'm done with your idealism. I listened to you, I took your words to heart about avoiding violence, and now a girl is dead. Well, I'm done taking chances. Remus, help me escort this invalid to Piero's barricade. I'll decide his fate there. With pleasure, madam. Come along, Inspector. Fontaine, Falcon, deal with the corpse. Meet us at the barricade when you're done. This is some bullshit. Falcon. There's no way that this was the work of the police. You know what, Falcon? I think you might be right. An isolated gunshot, this far away from the police line, it doesn't make any sense at all. But that's rebellions for you. They're messy affairs. Sometimes innocents get caught in the crossfire and there's no reason for it. Well, there's no use dawdling. Help me get the corpse off the streets. Not yet. I'm going to examine the body first. Examine the body? We agreed that this wasn't the work of Inspector Volerti, right? Then there must be some clues on the corpse that point towards what happened. An impromptu coroner's examination, eh? Fine, you have 2 minutes. After that, we're heading to the barricade, whether you're done here or not. Alright. Everyone's been so fixated on who did this that nobody's stopped to ask who the girl was. I don't know, monsieur. Given her clothes, she's probably just another working girl. Just another. I didn't mean to sound glib, but it's true. This is one mademoiselle among the thousands who live in Paris. Who was she? Where did she work? Will her family miss her? I don't know, but in the long run, I don't think anybody will care. I care. I can't afford not to. I don't know who this mademoiselle was, but I'm going to see to it that justice is brought about for her death. Select an area to examine. Ooh. It's a long shot, but maybe this girl is faking her injury. Just for the sake of thoroughness, I really ought to check for a pulse. Right. No, nothing. Select an area to examine. Seriously? Oh, jeez, that's kind of messed up. What's this mark? It almost looks like a handprint, made in blood. Probably the mademoiselle's. I don't think so. It's the handprint of a left hand on the girl's left shoulder. There's no way a person could comfortably reach that spot on their own back. I suppose so, but if the handprint doesn't belong to the girl, then who does it belong to? The murderer. It has to be. The question on my mind is, why is the handprint made in blood? Did the murderer sully their hand on the girl's gunshot wound, or were they injured prior to the shooting? There's so much to uncover here, and no time for a thorough investigation. They were injured prior to the shooting because that bastard brother, Sylvius, whatever his goddamn real name is, he's the one who shot her, and he was, like, probably holding his side and stuff. Yeah. And then he moved the body over here to make it look suspicious. Select an area to examine. That one. This is the bullet wound, right? What can you tell me about it, Fontaine? Well, it looks like the bullet took a fairly straight angle of entry through the mademoiselle's back. The shooter was probably standing right behind the victim. What's the bullet size? You know, its caliber? Let me guess. You're hoping that the caliber of the bullet is different to the caliber of the inspector's gun? That would conveniently get that one-eyed police officer off the hook, wouldn't it? But I'm afraid I can't help you. I couldn't possibly know a bullet's caliber without having a good look at the bullet itself. And as you can plainly see, the bullet is 3 centimeters deep in flesh. So, you need to see the bullet itself. Help me retrieve the bullet. Oh, this could be nasty, but let's do it. Help me retrieve the bullet, Fontaine. Retrieve? You mean dig it out. Assume you have little more experience in this area than I do. Well, you're not wrong there. Fine, this will only take a moment. Here you go, one used bullet. It looks like a standard lead rifle or pistol ball, but I'm afraid I cannot tell you its caliber. Why is that? The bullet fragmented upon impact, monsieur. Gathered all the pieces, but I cannot assess its diameter with any accuracy. Still, I would guess that it was 13 to 17 millimeters. Sorry that I can't be more specific. That's an enormous help. Thank you, monsieur. Fragmented bullet has been added to your evidence folder. Select an area to examine. Alright. Just go all over her body, I guess. We almost missed the wrist. So, figure best to cover everything possible. This probably looks kind of weird. Like rubbing the mouse all over her body, but whatever. It's what we gotta do. Alright, I don't think there's anything else on the body itself. So maybe around the body. I don't know. That seems like it, though. I'm thinking the shadow under her is there. No. Yeesh. Yeah, I think we got everything. Alright, that's good enough. We got the handprint and the bullet, so that should work. I'm done here. Very good. Let's move this body off the street. Then we must hurry to the Palais Royal. Rest in peace, mademoiselle. I'll see to it that justice is done. Ha! Everything's going just as planned. The madame's probably fuming right now. She'll attack the Palais Royal, the Prime Minister will flee, and then... Excuse me, monsieur. What do you want? I'm busy. Yeah, Renard. He's kind of a badass, I gotta say. Don't you recognize me, monsieur? I know that my disguises are a little more complex than yours, but I assumed you would recognize Prince Juan when you saw him. What? 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 You're Prince Juan? Indeed, and you're Judge Romulus, the corrupt wolf. I know what you did. You tried to assassinate the king, you shot the croque-monsieur, and just moments ago I saw you murder a maiden, goddamn, at the Place de la Concorde. You truly are a vile individual, aren't you? Yeah, as if you have any proof for any of that stuff. I'm out of here. I also know that you're one half of the Viridian Killer. On any other day, I would gut you where you stand, Fox, but as it happens, I'm a little busy today. Oh, the Viridian Killer is too busy to kill me? Is that the truth, or is that bullet wound of yours starting to affect your prowess? You must have lost an awful lot of blood. What do I do? What do I do? Sparrowson, help him out! Help Bernard! Oh, hello, Monsieur Lopez. Ah, Monsieur Sparrowson. Perfect timing. Who now? Oh, you're that fledgling. I guess this is what they call being stuck between a rock and a hard place, huh? Monsieur Sparrowson, be a dear and help me restrain the Viridian Killer. This guy? He's the Viridian Killer? He looks more like Judge Romulus to me. Well, you would be right about that, too. Wow, so he's two scumbags in one. All right, then. Sparrowson's the best. Oh, mind the wound? Quit your whining, Your Honor. Very nice takedown, Monsieur Sparrowson. You may want to check his pockets for weapons. He is something of a notorious killer, after all. Of course, let's see what we've got here. Aha, here we are. A pistol. Probably the one to use to kill the maiden, I suspect. What else can you find, Monsieur Sparrowson? I just realized something. If we didn't prove Prince Juan's innocence, he would have been killed, and Renard would not be in this at all. Like, that makes me think either the people who made this game actually, like, did a good job and put in the effort to, like, make those multiple paths for whether or not Prince Juan died and, you know, all the other stuff. Or maybe they pulled a telltale and it was actually impossible for Prince Juan to die. I don't know. Anyway, a pistol. Probably the one to use to kill the maiden, I suspect. What else can you find, Mr. Sparrowson? This, an eye patch? Weird. What would this wolf want with an eye patch? Oh no, this is bad. Very bad indeed. I don't get it. What's wrong with an eye patch? There's no time to explain. Mousy! What is it, Mr. Volpez? What is it? Take this eye patch to Jayjay Falcon. If my fears are correct, he'll be somewhere around the Palais Royal right now. Tell him that this belongs to Remus's brother. Hurry now. Right away, Monsieur Volpez, right away. I must go too. I need to find the other half of the Viridian Killer pair before something terrible happens. Wait, Monsieur Volpez. What am I supposed to do with this guy? Ugh, sorry. You have his gun, don't you? March that wolf to the nearest police station and collect a reward for capturing Judge Romulus. What a strange day. Outside the Palais Royal, the rebels have constructed a makeshift barricade out of furniture, branches, rocks, and anything else they can find. From behind the wall, the rebels taunt the police and royal guards with chants. I'm growing impatient, pig. Confess your crimes. I have nothing to confess, you filthy rebel. You and all your rebel friends, however, should confess to 1,000 counts of treason and public disorder. I will see each and every one of you hanged for your flagrant disregard of the law. Your stubborn attitude is disgusting. A few days ago, you were seen at La Halles. Witnesses saw you murder a beggar in cold blood. Today, a friar has testified to seeing you murder a girl, again completely unprovoked. I don't know why you continue to plead your innocence. But it doesn't matter. I don't need a confession to know that you're a killer. Madame Beaumont, stop! The inspector didn't shoot that mademoiselle. Keep your beak closed, Falcon. I'm done listening to your suggestions. This policeman is as guilty as every other monster in our decrepit justice system. It's my duty to execute him. Madam, Falcon has uncovered some pretty convincing evidence. I would recommend that you hear him out. Please, just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes and I can convince you of this inspector's innocence. 5 minutes is precious in a time like this. I can't afford it. What if you're wrong? Are you willing to see another dead innocent? Thank you, madam. Having my life saved by the Viridian Killer. How humiliating. Quiet, pig. Your life is mine until I say otherwise. Okay, so, first of all, let's recap on what Friar Remus had to say. Wait, where is that friar? He's a key witness to this crime. He scarpered as soon as he dropped the inspector off. Said he had some business to attend to. Business? Beck? Man, oh man, those barricades are looking pretty scary. But I mustn't fear, for I am a brave duck. I am the great Officer Beck, handsome, intelligent, strong, truly a fearless hero who will for fuck's sake, truly a fearless hero who will be remembered for... Hello, officer. Ah, you scared me, Monsieur, monk? Friar, actually. Friar Remus. Listen, officer, I have something of great importance to tell you. I was just passing by the rebel camp, and I overheard a conversation. Oh, this sounds good. Do go on. They said they were going to launch an assault very soon, and when they do, they're going to rain hellfire on the palace. Oh, no! It's just as I feared. What'll we do? It's simple, officer. As soon as you hear the first gunshot, you need to retaliate. Hit them with everything you've got. Every cannon, every rifle, every piece of artillery. Don't leave a single piece of the barricade remaining. That is the only way you can be sure to survive. Ah, total annihilation. I like it. But Friar, I'm confused. Aren't you a Christian? Yes, so what? I don't know, it's just that your idea doesn't seem very Christian-y. Ah, I see. You think this is a moral issue. Let me tell you a secret, my dear stuck friend. There is no God, no overarching morality or higher plane, no heaven to save the righteous or hell to punish the sinners. There is only you, your artillery, and 10,000 rebels who want to dine on Peking duck tonight. Understand? That's an awful lot to take in. Then let me simplify. It's you or them. It's me or them? Jesus Christ, this doesn't look good. Forget about the Friar, Falcon. We all remember what he had to say. Present your case based on what you can recall. Okay, I will. But you may want to wipe that mouse off your shoulder first. Sorry, wipe what? Oh, it's you, Mousy. Monsieur Falcon, special delivery from Renard Volpez. Thank you, Mousy. What is this? An eye patch. It was found in Remus's brother's clothing. Remus's brother's? This is not an eye patch belonging to Judge Romulus? That's interesting. Where is Romulus? There's no time, monsieur. Just take it, take it. Eye patch has been added to your evidence folder. I have to run, monsieur, but you have to do your best. Monsieur Volpez and Sparrowson believe in you. Sparrowson? You've seen Sparrowson? How is he? There's no time, monsieur. Good luck. Are you quite done, Falcon? Very much so. Let's begin this trial. Cross-examination. Okay, so let's remember what the Friar said. Select a statement question. Okay, the Mademoiselle was approaching the police line with Hez? That looks like an S. It should be an R, but it looks like an S. Looks like Hess. Hands in the air, when all of a sudden the brute of a police inspector yelled, "Get back, you filthy rebel," and drew his gun and shot the bird point blank through the chest. That's the first one we'll do, because we know she was shot in the back. Friar Remus claimed that the girl was shot point blank in the chest. She was shot in the back. The girl was clearly shot in the back. I know, I remember seeing the bullet wound for myself. But that's quite a glaring inaccuracy in the wolf's testimony. It is an inaccuracy, but it is an irrelevant inaccuracy. Does it really matter if the girl was shot in the front or back? Either way, a girl died at this pig's hands. It does matter. It does matter. If the girl were shot from the front, then this might indicate a police confrontation turned ugly. But if she were shot in the back, then what? This could indicate that someone targeted and assassinated her before she could even react. It doesn't paint the inspector in a particularly flattering light, Falcon. Madame, you're missing the point. A shot to the back breaks the currently established narrative. The girl was targeted and murdered in a stealthy, professional attack. Therefore, this was not an ordinary police confrontation. You've made an assumption, Falcon. You've assumed that, just because the girl was shot in the back, she must have been stealthily killed. There are other possibilities. Perhaps the girl was scared by the police, started running away, and was shot in the back as she fled. That scenario isn't possible. If the girl were running away, then she would have been at least a couple of steps away from the killer at the time of the shooting, right? Right. But I know that the killer was standing right behind the victim. They were less than 1 meter apart when the gun was fired. They were standing that close. How could you possibly know that, Falcon? Because... bloody handprint! We saw a bloodied handprint on the girl's shoulder. What do you make of that, madam? Well, I assume any bloody stain would belong to the victim. A mark made with this girl's dying breath, perhaps. No, it was the print of a left hand on the girl's left shoulder, near her upper back. The angle and positioning of the print indicate that it could only have been caused by another person. That's why I'm so certain that the killer was right behind the girl at the time of the attack. I see. That's quite a theory. But Falcon, you've left an important question unanswered. Why was the handprint bloody? The print was made with the victim's blood, yes? So it can't possibly have been made prior to the shooting. The killer must have wiped his hands on the girl's clothing after she had already died. And if that's the case, then my suggested scenario is still possible. The girl may have been running from the police when she was shot. No, that's... I'm still trying to work out the details. But I know that the print was made prior to the shooting. Maybe the shooter was injured and his hand was already covered in blood. You talked big about breaking the established narrative, and now you present me with that baseless drivel? Well, where do you go from here? How does this handprint nonsense really affect the situation? You find something funny about the situation, Inspector? I do. This whole trial is patently absurd. It's an animal court... It's an animal court through and through. But there was something particularly funny about that last exchange. You were both so focused on when and how this handprint was made that you missed the larger issue. I don't have a left hand, you idiots. I couldn't have possibly left that mark. Oh, right, of course. Well, madam, what do you say to that? Maybe the handprint came from an accomplice, Or maybe it had nothing to do with the incident, or it feels good to see someone else speculating wildly for a change. Okay, fine, I don't have a solid explanation. I must concede that it's possible, maybe even likely, that the person who left that mark was the murderer. Therefore, as much as it pains me to say it, I must concede that the inspector probably did not shoot the girl. So that's it. The inspector's off the hook. No, there's still the matter of the incident at the halls. What incident is this? I know nothing about it. Ha! As if you don't know. A beggar rat was shot and killed in Les Halles a few days ago. The attacker was described as a scowling police officer who wore an eye patch. Sound familiar to you? Go on, Falcon. Explain the pig out of this one. Until 5 minutes ago, I was at a loss. But I was recently presented with a piece of evidence that makes the answer all too clear. This is a false flag operation. False flag? Explain yourself, Falcon. The eye patch. Madam, what do you know about Remus's twin brother, the man known as Romulus? Not much, only that he was forced to flee the country by our oppressive government around a month ago. That's a half-truth, madam. You see, it is correct that Romulus is being hunted by the police. But I've had the suspicion that the wolf was lurking in Paris itself, although I never managed to find definitive proof of this. Anyway, it turns out that my suspicion was well-founded. He was recently apprehended, I think. You think? I don't know the details, but it doesn't matter. What's important is that our reliable friend found this on Romulus's person just moments ago. An eye patch. Romulus has perfect vision. Why would he need something like this? There's only one plausible explanation. It's part of a disguise. Something to conceal his identity and make him appear as someone else. A disguise. You're saying that Romulus shot the beggar rat just to frame this police inspector? Exactly, madam. It's no coincidence that Friar Remus happened to find the very same inspector just as another murder occurred today. So, Remus was in on it too. Two wolves working together to make this policeman look like a murderer. But why? Why would they do that? To rile you up, madam. To make you lust for violence. And if your actions today are anything to go by, I would say that they succeeded. Damn, I've been so stupid. How did I let myself get so misled by a couple of wolves? This trial is over. Go, Inspector. You're free. It's about damn time. You're letting him walk, ma'am? Of course. It would be criminal to confine an innocent man any longer than necessary, even if the man is a bitter, stubborn pig. Falcon! Yes? I don't understand you. You're stupid, you're reckless, but you fought beak and talon for my freedom. I'm starting to suspect that you really aren't the Verdian killer at all. It certainly took a long time to pass that fact through your thick skull. Inspector, if you're still hunting that villain, maybe you should speak with Renard Volpez when this is all over, I mean. I hear he's been doing some research into the Verdian killer. Maybe he knows something. Maybe I will. Madam, it appears that your gang of rebel filth don't intend on assaulting the palace anytime soon. I'll relay that information to the artillerymen. Maybe we can keep a peaceful standoff going until this blows over. Thank you. I appreciate that. All of you, stay out of trouble. So, what happens now, ma'am? We're going to continue our protest. Peacefully. We're going to stand here, chanting and shouting until the Prime Minister and the King both step down out of sheer humiliation. It might take days, weeks, but if we manage to change this country without one more person being harmed, then... Well, look who returned. Madam, I just saw the police inspector strolling out of here unharmed. Why'd you let him go? That's simple, Remus. We all had a discussion, and we came to the conclusion that I had been misled by a couple of wolves. Oh? How many lies have you fed me, Friar? Just how much damage have you done to further your own goals? Did you help your brother kill the beggar rat in the halls? Did you watch the girl die by the Place de la Concorde? Now that I think about it, even the Croque Monsieur's death was surrounded by details that made little sense. I don't know what to think anymore. You know this guy's a scumbag at least, ma'am. I say shoot him. Pierrot's right. We won't judge you for killing this man, madam. It's the least I deserve for my sins. Go ahead, madam. What are you waiting for? Pull the trigger. Do it! Falcon, you've proven yourself as having clear judgment. What do you say? Let him live. We have to. If the Inspector Volerti hasn't had enough time to get back to talk to the artillerymen yet, if she shoots him, the artillerymen will hear the shot, and out of fear, they'll start opening up on all the innocent citizens, so let him live. Madam, you know what the right thing to do is. Show us what kind of leader you wish to be. You're right. I said this will be a bloodless revolution, and I can't make any exceptions, not even for a monster like this wolf. Wow, this is amazing. Completely unprecedented. You've buckled all of my expectations, avoided every temptation, and opted for an option that shouldn't even exist. Well done, madam. Well done, Falcon. You've demonstrated the power of pacifism in its purest form. But unfortunately for both of you, I'm no pacifist. Everyone get down! Well, shit. At least we stalled for a bit of time. Suicide. Shooting himself in the head? What a loony. Hardly a surprise that the wolf would be too cowardly to face a real punishment. This isn't right. It's not the solution I wanted either, Falcon, but I can't say I'll mourn the fire's death. No, that's not what I meant. I meant that it doesn't make sense for him to kill himself so abruptly. And that comment of his, it was almost like, I think we need to get out of here. All of us, right now. Falcon, what are you talking about? Ah, that was a gunshot. Really close, too. I can't afford to hesitate. It's me or them. Officer, hold your fire. No way. I can't afford to take chances. It's me or them. It's me or them. Fire every cannon. Oh, God, no. The cannonballs aren't actually leaving. But okay. Low budget, it's fine. I understand. It's okay. Oh, God, that's so bad. Can anyone hear me? Piero? Fontaine? Hello? Anyone? I'm here, madam. Falcon? Of all people. I think I made a mistake, Falcon. Where did I go wrong? Was it when I lost my temper, overseeing that dead girl? Or was it earlier, when I shot that prosecutor? Or was it earlier still, when I first listened to that monstrous friar in the first place? I've made a lot of mistakes. We've all made mistakes, madam. Most people's mistakes don't spark bloody revolutions. Can you move, madam? I don't think so. Give me a minute. I think I can clear some of this rubble. Oh, shit. Okay, sorry for the sudden cut there. I had to go take care of something, and I also just noticed that this episode's gone on for like nearly 40 minutes or so at this point. Sorry that it went on so long, but I think we are actually at the end of the game, so we're probably just going to end it right here. Probably just have to watch this one more scene, and I'm guessing that'll be it. So let's just do that then. Okay. Dear Monsieur Volpez, I'm writing to you from the Demio Railway Express. Modern technology truly is amazing. I've decided to take your advice and have gone on vacation until things settle down. The king fleeing to Britain, the Second Republic taking over, it's all crazy stuff. Anyway, before I left, you asked if I knew what happened to Falcon. Well, I got my hands on a copy of the official police report, and it says that Falcon died during the attack on the barricade. But it also says that the police didn't find a body, same as Leon Beaumont. Weird, huh? Rumor is that he was probably blown away by cannon fire, but that doesn't sound right to me. Falcon I knew was tough and intuitive. I think he found a way to escape and survive. So, in my opinion, he's still out there. It's possible, isn't it? Anyway, I should wrap this letter up because I'm about to reach my stop, Vienna. I'll let you know how Mademoiselle Signa's parents are doing. Maybe you should come pay a visit sometime. Oh. Yeah, Renard's probably like super guilty that Signa died because of him. Or not really because of him, but died in place of him. Yeah. Send my regards to Mousy. Yours sincerely, Sparrowson. P.S. I see a person selling Miller Hamstrudel. What is it? P.P.S. Delicious. That's what. Ah, Sparrowson, you rock. Just the best. Oh, yeah, that's the credits then. Game by Sketchy Logic, based on the characters and art of Jayjay Grandville. Yes, yes, yes. And the compositions of Camille Saint-Saëns. Designed, programmed, and written by Jeremy Nogoni. I'm not going to read off all of these. But yeah, it's very Very good art. Very good story. Honestly, very good writing. Very comedic and everything. I loved it. I don't play a ton of visual novels, and obviously this is the first one I've done on my channel. But I don't know, I might do more. I'm not super convinced that this made for great content, because frankly it was me mostly reading off what people were saying, but I kind of do that already anyways, even in other games, so I guess it wasn't that big a change. But I don't know. Anyway, it was fun. I'll do more if I find one that I just really feel like doing, or if people ask for more of this kind of stuff, then yeah, I'll certainly try that out. You've reached the end of Route C, Fraternité. The ending you received was determined by the decisions you made in Chapter 3. Try tackling the trial in the catacombs differently in order to see a different ending. Thank you for playing Aviary Attorney. Yeah, so I guess Chapter 3 is the main one that decides the ending, and the other two don't affect it so much. But even so, yeah, I'm not gonna be going back and getting the other endings. I think that ending was sufficient. We weren't able to stop the war, but I do think Falcon lived. He seems like the type who would have been able to get out of that situation. And yeah, anyway, yeah, so overall, really liked it. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you made it to the end of this, then please consider leaving a comment. I'd really appreciate that, and make you a really cool person. So, yeah, I'll see you all next time in whatever other game I play. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll figure it out before I record it. Hopefully, or not. Bye-bye.